Hello class, this is Nate, your class leader. We're going to do a quick interruption into our 1000 to a million chart. This is the SLV iShares Silver Trust chart that we did call options on yesterday. We did call options on Monday. We placed call options here, and today we saw a little bit of a shift in the momentum that tested some of the volatility in the space. And so what I did, and this is just to set for posterity that I made a change. This long volatility candle today, I took half of our options and I sold them, and then I bought back in when it was lower. Because I figured, one, I would be lowering my cost basis and I could repeat this if the downside continues, and two, I thought our entry was a little weak, but the indicators seem to be that the momentum overall would continue. And so you can see on the daily here that the moving average, the MACD, is in fact still on the daily open, meaning that we're still in an upward momentum. Our RSI didn't give out and we're not overstretched on it. We're just seeing a return. We haven't broken below our trend so far. So for now, the move is intact, and what I wanted to do is get an opportunity to drop some of the cost here, because I think our ability to make 100% on this is going to take a very close call to making it to 24. We may not make it to 24 to get there, or we'll tap 23. And so I want to be able to get as much opportunity as I could, so I took half and came down. So our cost basis was 75 cents per options share. That's $75 per contract. And now our cost basis is 71 cents. And so instead of experiencing a $125 loss today, we are now at a $25 gain. That's a pretty great correction here. So we're up 2% instead of being down 6%. So it took some activity here because, again, like I said, I wasn't very happy with this entry. I'm still not perfectly set with this. And so I only sold half, and this is just so we go over the psychology of what I did here. I only sold half because I didn't want to be out of the trade entirely in case something else changed. But I didn't know where to enter back in. Once I saw that it started to identify a little bit of V bottom out, I bought back in. And we can see on the 4-hour, this was the day's activities. I have the 9th of November here, right? We opened here and I was like, oh, we're going to get some downside volatility. The downside volatility continued. It wicked down, and then I came back in and said, no, we're going to go back to the upside, go on to the next hour and goes. Now, we can see that the 4-hour MACD still stayed up, but what I started identifying was that the MACD had crossed here, and when it crossed here today was when I was like, okay, we're going to see some downside, but I think we've overspent ourselves on the volatility for this short-term move. And one thing that I'm familiar with in the silver space is that the downside volatility picks up in the morning, people sell off real fast, the shorts come in pretty quick, especially at weak points. And again, our entry was not amazing, and I felt like that was a weak point to get started on. So sure enough, something came in and kind of tried to drop it. This market is heavily manipulated both by just short sellers and people looking for better opportunities in the market. So the trend tends to be you come up, you hit a weak point, and then the downtrend begins again. And it keeps getting hit down. And this happens in many markets. The phrase all markets are manipulated, but yours is the worst comes to mind. And in silver, it is tough. So I am taking every opportunity to try and keep the momentum up because I think we may come down and retest this support at some point before we make it up to 23. We might just shoot up to 23 and stay under it and then go above and set on top of it. But I expect that there's a possibility to come down here, and in the long term we may come down even further as we correct back and we don't continue on an overall uptrend. This may be the bottom, but I'm still expecting that we may see some suppression as the market tries to correct here. However, the yields and the macro activity are showing me that we're going to see an upside in silver. So I am bullish here. I am holding out to see, and the break will be our sell line here. I am just going to trade the intervolatility to try to get as many options as possible. I also went from 26 total contracts to 27. So obviously I was able to increase by distributing this bit of repurchasing. So if I can see the opportunity again, I'll take it. We save $4 per contract, and that adds up after a while. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later, and I'll keep you up to date.